How concerned should people who are fully vaccinated right now with the Pfizer regimen be about this new variant?
I think I'm concerned, but I'm not in panic, as the president said. I think we have been preparing for a moment like that for the last few months. And I think we are now really very well prepared to win this battle.
So just to be clear, and obviously we want to be precise, we don't want to overstate or understate the situation, the danger. How likely is it that the current Pfizer vaccine will provide less protection against the Omicron variant? And why would that be?
There is a chance that this will happen, and we will know in, let's say, 2-3 weeks. And the more time passes, the more data you accumulate to assess the situation. But as I have said, and you played a little bit earlier, I doubt that the results will be that we can find ourselves that we are not protecting at all. We can find ourselves that we are perfectly fine and we are protecting as high as with the Delta, or that we are having a less protection compared to the Delta, but that will be the variant. And in both cases, boosters should reduce dramatically the gap.
And at what point, I mean, again, this is all very new, even in South Africa, although is now the dominant strain there. You've said that Pfizer has started the development process for a new vaccine tailored to Omicron. Can you just explain I am the worst science person around. So can you just explain in layman's terms how that works and how how is it that you're already able to be working on a vaccine that scientists are still trying to figure out about in South Africa?
There are a few things that we don't know about the vaccine, but there are a few things that we know for certain. We don't know if it's going to be more virulent. We don't know if it's going to transmit faster or have higher disease. We don't know if it will escape the protection of our vaccines, but we know the sequence of the virus. We have it. And this is how everything starts. We started at risk producing a vaccine. We started actually on Friday, producing based on the sequence, a DNA template that will allow us to make an RNA that eventually we will put into this vaccine. If a few weeks from now we realize that we don't need a vaccine like that, then we will put it in the cell. We have done it twice so far, Anderson. We have built already a beta-specific tailored vaccine that we never used because we are protecting very well against beta with the current vaccine, and a delta vaccine that we never used for the same reasons. So we're doing the same with Omicron right now. If indeed we need it, we will not have wasted any time.
So you put resources into developing a vaccine for Delta when Delta was rising, in the thought that it might, if that became the dominant strain and the current vaccine didn't work, you would have that ready to go, but you didn't use that.
Exactly, and the same with beta, exactly the same.
So Moderna's chief medical officer says his company is also developing an Omicron-specific booster that would take 2 to 3 months to get into testing and then production. You've said Pfizer could do the same 100 days or less. Is that a window that can be narrowed depending on how the work goes?
I think likely will be the window that, because we have measured it twice, almost to the day. This means that around 60 days on the development, we will have clinical production of a vaccine so that we can go and test it to humans. And then within 95 days, we will have the full results of this trial. And the most important of that, it is that if eventually we have a vaccine that is needed and it works, we should be able to transition manufacturing to this new vaccine without losing any single dose, almost any dose from the current capacity. I remind you, Anderson, that right now we are at 1 billion doses per quarter. This is how much we produce this quarter, which means next year easily 4 billion doses. I think if we have to go to a new vaccine, we will be able to produce easily 4 billion doses for the new vaccine.
Until everyone around the world has access to vaccines, though, we are all, even if have full regimens here in the United States, we're still going to be vulnerable to mutations, correct?
Absolutely. And first of all, in a pandemic, you are as protected as your neighbor down the road, but also the neighbor in geographic sense. So we need to make sure that everyone is getting enough vaccinations, because vaccines is not anymore the problem in Africa. Vaccinations is the problem.
the distribution. Albert Bourla, I really appreciate your work and your time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
More on the medical and public health dimensions now. Joining us for that, CNN Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. Sanjay Gupta, author of World War C, Lessons from the COVID-19 Pandemic and How to Prepare for the Next One. It's Sanjay's latest book. Also, Dr. Leana Wen, CNN medical analyst, former Baltimore Health Commissioner, and author of Lifelines, A Doctor's Journey in the Fight for Public Health. So, Sanjay, we just heard from Mr. Bourla. What stands out to you about what Pfizer is doing and about where we're at?
Well, there's a lot that we still don't know. I mean, we're seeing the scientific process unfold real time once again. I think there was a couple things that sort of jumped out. It will be a couple of weeks at least before they can tell just how well the vaccines protect against this particular variant. That takes time. Some of that's laboratory studies where they will take this variant, Omicron, put it into a petri dish with the vaccine and basically see how well the antibodies neutralize the virus. And they're also going to be following real-time data in hospitals and tracking cases as they are in South Africa. They're going to be doing that all over the world. But this is just going to take some time. I think when I hear all these comments from these vaccine makers, I think one of the consensus is that there's probably protection that is still offered, certainly by these vaccines. So they're still very effective. The booster would make them even more effective because you're generating more antibodies. But this virus appears to be different and may require a different booster at some point in the future.
Dr. Wen, though, I mean, one scientist in South Africa who raised alarms about this had said that the cases she had seen were mild. Do we know yet how worried we should be? I mean, do we know okay, there's a new variant, and yes, it's got all these attributes that are very concerning, but do we know yet whether the actual somebody who gets ill with it is worse off than they are with Delta or something else?
We don't, Anderson. There is so much that we don't yet know about Omicron, but there are things that we know that make us worried. For example, how transmissible it appears to be in South Africa, although we don't know whether that's going to pan out in the rest of the world. We also don't know about immune escape, as Sanjay was just saying, but we don't know this question of, is it causing more severe disease or is it going to cause really mild illness? We don't know, but I think this is why the US and many other countries are doing the right thing when it comes to preparing for the worst. We would much rather do that than the reverse, because for so long in this pandemic, we've been doing the opposite. We've been waiting for something terrible to hit us. We were caught off guard with the Delta surge. I think it's much better if it turns out to be a false alarm and we did all the preparations and it turned out to not be a big deal. But actually, one of the things that it could help with is maybe getting boosters out, for example, can help us to stem the Delta surge. So in any case, getting prepared is exactly the right thing for us to do at this point.
Sanjay, can you just give us kind of the long view on this? Because, just hearing this, I mean, I think like a lot of people, when I heard this news, I just thought, it seems like, relatively speaking, things were going in the right direction. Then this thing comes along. But as we were talking about with Mr. Bourla, unless everybody gets vaccinated around the world or has access to vaccines, I mean, this can just drag on for years and years and years with new mutations occurring.
Yeah, I mean, variants are likely to keep occurring as the virus continues to transmit. The more it transmits from person to person, the more mutations may occur. But that doesn't mean they're all going to be potentially problematic mutations either. There's also this potential tug of war, as the South African health minister was talking about this morning, as viruses become more transmissible, evolve into becoming more contagious. Sometimes they lose some of their punch as well. They trade one off for the other. So you may see that. But in terms of what we know, this is, again, unfolding real time. The specimen that was collected, that ended up being the first specimen, that was on November 9th. So, just three weeks ago or so. And then, it was identified to have this genomic sequence. We now know it's in 15 plus countries around the world. And there's some, 50 mutations on this. Some of these mutations we've seen before, and they were associated with more transmissibility. Other mutations were associated with a higher chance of escaping the immunity. I don't know if we have the 3D image. We can just show this real quick. If we have it, you can see the spike protein of this virus, and you can see all these various mutations on it, and it gives you an idea of what scientists are trying to deal with in terms of identifying that's it, the spike protein, and these are the mutations with this particular variant. That's the 3D representation of what they're basically trying to deal with and address, Anderson.
I don't even know what I'm looking at. I mean, I'm such an idiot. I mean, I wish I understood science because I don't know. I mean, that looks, I don't know.
That's a spike protein, and it's
Okay.
got all these different mutations on. Yeah, it's a lot there. But the point is that when you have that many mutations on something, it changes the character of it quite a bit. Do those mutations add up to something that makes it even worse, or does it end up not mattering as much having all those mutations?
I apologize for my ignorance, but I'm glad we have two very smart people with